Hey, how's it going? I wanted to share something with you today. It's I'm gonna show you a presentation. It's something that has to do with sales. You can use this anywhere. If you're speaking to an audience, if you're speaking to just someone through a video conference, um, marketing, you name it. This is just a formula you can use for objection blocking. Okay, so let's get started. So, us versus them. What does this mean? Objection blocking. So, this is when you're going to speak to an audience. Alright, so let's dive right in. Create the ID of your audience. What this means is you have to give your audience a way they can identify themselves. So pretty much what we're going to try to do when we speak to our audience is speak to your audience in a positive way and speak about how important they are, how smart, how intelligent they were just because they chose to listen to you and they chose to take time out of their life just to be able to learn what you are willing to share with them. So the next note is speak about others negative. Why do I place that as not negatively to offend, but in a way how they're much more different than others that didn't take the opportunity. They didn't see the opportunity and they didn't go after it. So that's what it means by using a negative. And using these tools for your sales tactics on any audience when you're marketing. Okay, these are the points of objection blocking, and this is what we're going to use when you're trying to sell to a customer. You're trying to sell to an audience, your client. This is just a tactic you want to use. So you want to create that ID for that audience. You want to give them that value and show them that they're actually someone. They're actually a different kind of people, that they can be separated, pretty much a group aside from everyone else. This is what we're trying to show them. We're trying to give them some way that they can identify themselves. Okay, so let's continue. What to tell your audience. Use positive things about that person. For example, people like you and I know. So you want to, like I said, you want to create that. You want to identify yourself as and your audience as, oh, we are great marketers because we know we have to invest in our knowledge in order to be able to give information, or we have to learn in order to earn more. So we have to give that identification about us and them, to share that we have something we can share. We have something similar, and we are actually a group of people that have the same mindset. You have to tell them how smart they are. They're hardworking. They are ahead of the competition. This is what's going to set them apart. They're going to think in their head, and they're going to think, oh, well, I am a smart person. I am a hardworking. I am ahead of the competition because I chose to be here. So they're going to identify as that kind of person. And another point is they are the 1% of the population. So you just got to give positive information, positive identification. Give that mindset of your audience a positive reaction, and they're going to think positively, because we understand that we're emotional creatures, and you have to start creating that positive mindset. And if you don't create that, then they have to seek it out on themselves. So if you're able to create that in that environment, that's going to stimulate a lot of more emotion in their purchase, in their desire of actually accepting whatever it is you're selling. They're going to be much more open, because we understand that when we buy something, if it's a want, it's normally out of an emotional impulse that we spend. So we have to have that in mind as a speaker, that we have to transmit that kind of positive environment, that kind of positive vibe towards your audience. Okay, so what to tell your audience? Tell them how great they are, how hardworking they are. Okay, and our next point, the them audience. Who are the them? Okay, we compare our audience with people that decided not to join the event or sales program. So we have to start comparing how different our audience is to the rest of the people that didn't decide to join your sales program. So use negative points about how others are not as capable and smart as your audience. People like them don't get it. Or, hey, there, don't be like everyone out there. You're going to want the surprise I have for you. That's an example you can use for a sales video, a sales letter. You have to learn how to separate your audience from everyone else, and use negative points about how the rest of the people that didn't decide to join were not as capable as them. They weren't as smart, because they're not looking ahead, because your audience is that 1%. Remember, you have to tell them why, because they're much more different than everyone else, because they're actually working hard, they're actually trying to get ahead, and they're investing in themselves. And we know that not just anyone invests in themselves, and that's very important. So you have to give negative points on how they're much different than others. Okay, and we go on to the next point. What to understand and what to say when speaking. Okay, this is if you're speaking through a video, you're doing a presentation, or you're in front of an audience, whatever it is. This applies to pretty much anything that has to do with sales and marketing. So when speaking, make them hungry for your service or product. Why do they need your services? So when you're speaking, you have to start up that emotion, right? You have to start up why do they need your service? What problems does your service or product solve for them? Is it a want? Is it something that they need in their business? And show a demonstration. Show how you can give a testimonial of a client, a customer that you have, and show a demonstration of how your skills set gave results for your customer. So you always have to make them hungry about your service and your product when you're speaking. Show them the problems and what it solves, and demonstrate. Remember, understand. So when speaking, you have to understand that there are many forms of communication. Not only is it just verbal, which words here, we know that is 7% we communicate in words. 38% are in our tone. That means what kind of attitude are you coming in? Are you coming all depressed and beat down, or are you coming in energetic to your audience and being like, no, you need this, you're gonna want this, I know you want this, because if you invest, it's gonna change your life, and that kind of tone, right? And people are gonna look at your face and your body expressions. That's 55. That's a huge number. 55% of our communication comes from our face and body expressions. That's a big number. So it goes to show that we have to be aware of all these points. When we're speaking, we have to understand that it's not just words, it's also our tone, our face, our body expressions. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. Just give out a comment about any questions, a like, dislike if you didn't like this video. That would help out a lot as well. And thank you for watching. And bye. Okay. What do I do here?